Welcome to the 8th grade homework helper series. Tonight's homework is EL9, the slope-intercept form of a linear equation, and this is day 2 of working with these equations. Start by taking a look at number 1a. Number 1 asks, in each case, find the slope, the y-intercept, and the coordinates of the y-intercept of the line that is the graph of the equation. So we'll start by taking a look at what exactly the y-intercept is. If we look at the equation of a slope, it is y equals mx plus b. So we know that m is the slope, b is the y-intercept, and we have the equation here, y equals 3x plus 1. So we simply need to locate where the slope is and where the y-intercept is, and then we need to state what they are. So in this case, the slope is 3, the y-intercept is 1, and the coordinates of this intercept, if we were to plot it on a grid, would be 0, 1. Number 1h. In each case, again, find the slope, the y-intercept, and the coordinates of the y-intercept of the line that is the graph of the equation. And we have an example of what the equation of a slope is. And then we have h, 4x minus 3y equals 0. Now we know in order to be able to determine which is the slope and which is the y-intercept, we need to isolate y and get it by itself. So we can start by taking away or adding 3, which will cancel this out on this side. And if we do that on this side, we're going to have to do that on this side. And that's going to leave us with 4x equals 3y, but since the equation shows y starting on the left-hand side anyway, I think we'll keep y. We can flip this around without any kind of penalty, and we'll put y on this side and then move on from there. So we have 3y equals 4x. So now we still want to try and isolate y, so we're going to divide by 3, and if we do that on this side, we've got to do that on this side. And that's going to bring us to y equals 4/3 x. And at this point now we've isolated y, so we can go ahead and figure out what our slope, our y-intercept, and our coordinates are. So the slope, again, is what's next to the x, so it's 4/3. The y-intercept, which in this case we don't have one, so it's a 0, and the coordinates of that would be 0, 0. Number 2, in each case write the equation of the line whose slope and y-intercept are respectively, and in this case we're starting off with a. We have 2 and 7. So we need to take these numbers and plug them into this, and we can show that since slope was mentioned first up here, our first number is going to be our slope. Since y-intercept was mentioned second over here, this is going to be our y-intercept. And if we pull this down, we can insert these right into the equation. And we can do the same thing for d. If we take this, and we know that's our m, that's our slope, and that's our b, that's the y-intercept, we can then take the negative 1/3, put that right next to x, and the 2 in the place of the b. Number 4. How are the graphs of y equals mx plus b affected when m is always replaced by the same number and b is replaced by different numbers? Well, when m, the slope, is equal, but the value of b, the y-intercept, is different, the lines are going to be parallel. So remember, when the slopes are the same on two equations, the lines will be parallel. Number 7, if two lines are parallel, how are the slopes related? Well, the slopes of parallel lines would be equal. So this is the opposite of the last question that we saw. Please use the problems that were solved for you tonight to do the rest of the problems on your homework. And remember, the key to success in math is not only working hard, but working smart.